Warcraft has a strange secret. The biggest tricks are not hacks at all. They are tiny advantages stacked for years. Cleaner keybinds, better camera habits, smarter movement, safer UI, and knowing which bugs became legends because players pushed the world too hard. So this is a deep dive into WoW tricks, tips, glitches, and the word people still call hacks. The line is important. We are covering legitimate play, historical exploit stories, and the account safety rules around cheating. We are not showing how to bot, bypass detection, abuse live bugs, or break someone else's account. The hook is simple. WoW rewards players who remove friction before the fight starts. The average player learns your rotation. The strong player learns what stops them from pressing the right button at the right time. Start with the camera, because the camera is your first defensive cooldown. Zoom out as far as the game allows. Keep your character low in the frame and train yourself to turn with the mouse while strafing with the keyboard. Keyboard turning is not a moral failure, but it costs information every second. The first practical trick is keybind density. Your interrupt, stun, movement ability, defensive, potion, dispel, and major cooldowns should not live on awkward clicks. Put the emergency buttons where your hand already rests, then build muscle memory on target dummies before you enter a dungeon.
Do or do not. There is no try.
The second trick is target control. Focus targets, mouse overcasts, and modifier macros let you heal, interrupt, dispel, or crowd control without losing your main target. A good macro does not play the game for you. It removes menu friction, so your actual decision happens faster. The third trick is nameplate discipline. Good nameplates tell you what is casting, what can be interrupted, what is dangerous, and what is already controlled. Bad nameplates turn a dungeon into confetti. The goal is not more UI. The goal is less guessing. Add-ins are powerful, but they are not magic. Boss timers, weak aura reminders, damage meters, route planners, auction tools, and bag managers can make WoW easier to read. If an add-on is making decisions for you instead of presenting information, you are already drifting toward the wrong side of the line. For movement, the small habits matter. Face your camera before you leap. Jump only when it keeps speed or clears terrain, not as nervous punctuation. Learn when to use strafe, when to cut corners, and when not to outrun the healer. Skywriting turned travel into a mini skill check. Build momentum before long climbs. Do not spend every vigor charge the moment it lights up, and plan your landing before you dive. Good travel is not glamorous, but over an expansion it saves hours. Leveling has its own tricks. Set your Hearthstone like a route tool, not a souvenir. Clear quest clusters and loops. Finish nearby objectives before turning in, and avoid traveling across the map for one yellow marker unless it unlocks something meaningful.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Warbands and modern account systems change the old alt problem. The trick is to separate permanent progress from character chores, collect account-wide unlocks, keep a clean bank plan, and stop letting every alt become a junk drawer with a talent tree. Code making is mostly patience disguised as cleverness. The auction house rewards players who know deposits, stack sizes, peak hours, and demand cycles. The easiest mistake is undercutting so hard that you turn your own farm into someone else's margin. Professions are not just crafting menus. They are timing games. Watch which materials spike after resets, which consumables move before raid nights, and which crafted upgrades remain relevant. The tip is boring but powerful. Track what actually sells, not what looks expensive. Dungeon play is where tricks become visible. The tank's route is a contract. The healer's mana is a timer. The damage player's interrupt is group survival. If you only stare at your damage meter, you are missing the part of the run that decides whether the pull is clean. Line of sight is one of WoW's oldest lessons. Corners can stack casters, break dangerous channels, deny enemy ranged pressure, and rescue a bad pull. Used well, line of sight feels like strategy. Used badly, it just hides you from your healer. Crowd control is not only sheep and traps. Stops, grips, knockbacks, roots, slows, fears, disorients, and displacements, all by seconds. The trick is to use them before the health bars are already collapsing.
That's it, man. Game over, man.
Raid bosses punish vague attention. The real tip is to assign your job before the pull, where you stand, what you bait, when you move, and which personal cooldown covers the predictable damage spike. If your plan starts after the warning appears, you are late. PvP turns the whole game into information warfare. Track trinkets, fake casts, line-of-sight cooldowns, and do not chase a target into a position where your healer cannot exist. The flashiest play is often just surviving the other team's burst window. Now for glitches, because WoW history is full of moments where the world behaved like a machine with loose screws. The most famous is Corrupted Blood. A raid debuff from Zul'Gurub escaped into cities and created a virtual plague players still talk about 2 decades later. Corrupted Blood mattered because it was not just a bug, it was a social experiment by accident. Some players ran, some helped, some spread it, and Blizzard had to treat the world like a live emergency rather than a static map. Wall walking and old exploration tricks showed another side of the same problem. Players found slopes, seams, and terrain angles that let them climb into places the designers never meant to support. It became exploration culture, then a design and enforcement problem. Old evade bugs, reset bugs, and boss pathing issues created the same argument again and again. Was it clever routing, or was it abusing a broken encounter? In a live MMO, the answer usually depends on whether the advantage survives a patch note and a Game Master review. The Martin Fury incident is the cleanest cautionary tale. A Game Master tool accidentally reached players, and the item could kill enemies instantly. It became famous because it was powerful, absurd, and clearly not normal gameplay. Dupes and economy exploits are more damaging than they look. They do not just give one person money. They distort prices, punish legitimate farmers, and force rollbacks or bans. If a method creates value out of nothing, assume it is radioactive. That brings us to the word hacks. In WoW, real hacks usually mean bots, unlockers, memory tools, rotation automation, input broadcasting abuse, injected clients, stolen accounts, or gold services. Those are not tips, they are banned tickets with extra steps. The practical safety rule is simple. If a tool needs to run an executable beside WoW to automate play or modify the client, do not touch it. Add-ins live inside the game's add-on system. Cheap tools try to control the game from outside it. Account safety is a gameplay tip too. Use an authenticator. Keep your email secure. Never buy power leveling. Never install mystery Weekaroo packs from random downloads. And do not trust a zip file because a forum post says it will fix your damage. There's a legal kind of hacking though, hacking your habits. Record one dungeon, watch your first death, and ask what information you missed. Was it a cast, a frontal, a defensive you held too long? One honest review beats 10 vague gear upgrades. Performance is also a trick. Lower the settings that bury mechanics, tap background clutter, keep combat add-ons lean, and clean out old weak auras you no longer use. A stable frame rate is worth more than a prettier wipe. Classic and retail reward different instincts. Classic punishes bad pulls, travel waste, and overconfidence. Retail punishes miss mechanics, weak cooldown planning, and UI overload. The best players change their habits with the version they are playing. If you want a simple improvement stack, build it like this. Clean keybinds first, camera second, nameplates third, interrupts fourth, defensive cooldown plans fifth, then add-ons that support those choices. Do not install 20 add-ons and call that progress. The best social trick in WoW is still finding people who make mistakes calmly. A good guild saves more time than any farm route. A stable group learns each other's weaknesses, covers them, and turns wipes into data instead of blame.
Hasta la vista, baby.
So when you hear tricks, tips, glitches, and hacks, split the words apart. Tricks are optimizations. Tips are habits, glitches are history unless Blizzard says otherwise. Hacks are the part you avoid if you care about your account. The real deep cut is that WoW was never solved because it keeps changing at the edges. New expansions, new classes, new add-ons, old bugs, patch routes, and players who keep squeezing better play out of ancient systems. The strongest WoW players do not win because they found a secret cheat code. They win because their screen is readable, their binds are reachable, their routes are planned, and their panic button fires before panic takes over. If this helped, like the video, subscribe to OmegaVG, and tell me which WoW topic deserves the next deep dive. Class tech, raid history, gold making, famous exploits, or the wildest player stories the game ever produced.